Okay, part 2 of investigation 4 lesson is how we can make and use data from a box and whisker plot. These are often referred to as box plots as well. And the whiskers, it's really kind of funny, they actually look like whiskers. So we're going to get into how to make one of these and how to use them. So first thing we're going to look at is an example. A box and whisker plot, or box plot, uses 5 statistical measures. It uses the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the minimum and maximum. Okay, so what we have here is we have a 5-number summary. We have the minimum, the lower quartile, or we commonly refer to this as Q1. We have the median. We have the upper quartile, or Q3, and then we have the maximum. Okay, now the minimum value is represented by this point, and sometimes there's a line and other times there can be a dot. Okay, the lower quartile would be here. The median is represented by this line. The upper quartile is this line, and then we have the maximum represented by this line here. Now what we do to make the box is we connect the minimum to the maximum on both sides, and we are left with the box of the box plot. And then we draw a line to connect either the dot or the line for our minimum and maximum to that, and we are left with a box and whisker plot. Okay, or often we call it a box plot. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how to make one of these things. All right, so we've got some information here. We've got 2 middle school classes competing in a jump rope contest, and we've got some information. We have Mrs. R's class and Mr. K's class, and we've got number of jumps and whether or not it's a boy or a girl. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Mr. K's class claims it is better at jumping rope than Mrs. R's. What evidence might they have? Well, if we take a look at this, they have a lot of bigger jumps, over 100, and one girl that jumped 300 times, and Mrs. R's class does not. Okay, so that might be their claim to fame, so to speak. But let's go ahead and go on. Okay, so now we have a dot plot. Okay, consecutive jumps by Mrs. R's, and here's her dot plot. And then we have consecutive jumps by Mr. K's, and here's their dot plot. And see, we got this 300 way out there. Now the minimum value 1, the lower quartile 17, the median of 40.5, the upper quartile of 65, and the maximum number 300 are shown on the dot plot below. Okay, so this is Mr. K's information. And then from that 5-number summary, we get this box and whisker plot. So what they did is they drew a line at the median, a line at the upper, a line at the lower, and then connected all 3 of those together to get the box. And then we put a dot at the minimum, a dot. I like to use dots for these. You can also use a line. Either way is fine. And then we connect them, okay, with the lines, and that is a whisker. So this side, Mr. K's class has a really long whisker, okay, and that's how they arrived at this. Now, we're going to talk about an outlier real quick. And an outlier is simply an unusually high or low data value in a distribution. Okay, and it could indicate that a value was recorded incorrectly, or it also could indicate something unusual about the study. So looking at Mr. K's class, this value at 300, this is an outlier. Okay, could be that we have somebody that's really great at jumping rope. It could also mean that maybe they counted incorrectly or they didn't know what to do. So let's take a look at Mrs. R's class. Okay, and this is problem A. So before coming to class tomorrow, and I know you just got done watching about a 10-minute video on histograms, but you're going to have to come to class tomorrow also with A done with Mrs. R's class box plot, or box and whisker plot. So I've copied down A down below here, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to count up the number of pieces of information. And we're going to start here, and we're going to go 1. I'm going to put a little dot in each one to indicate that I've counted it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this was 20. And now I have to scroll down a little bit. Okay, so bear with me while I scroll down on my page. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So there are 30 pieces of information, 30 what we call data points. Okay, so this is going to be an even set. And now, in order to draw a box plot on this information, and I'm just going to draw it right on top of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoot this up higher and kind of blow it up a little bit so I can indicate how to draw the box plot. All right, now, first thing we need to know in order to make a box plot is the minimum. Okay, so let's identify the minimum. The minimum is the smallest number. Well, right here, we have a minimum of 1. Okay, so the first line I'm going to put is at 1. Okay, now that is the minimum. Now, the next thing I'm going to look for is the median. Okay, and why the median? Well, because in order to find the upper and lower quartile, I need to find the median. That way it separates my data in half. So this one's the median, or the minimum. And now let's find the median. Well, since there are 30 pieces of information, the median is going to fall halfway through, which would be between the 15th and the 16th values. So I'm going to just count to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 15th. Here's the 16th. The median is going to fall right there. Okay, so I'm going to color that in blue again. The median is going to be halfway between 30 and 33. So we're looking for 30 plus 33 divided by 2. So that's 63 divided by 2, which gives us a median of 31.5. So the median is 31.5. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put where I think 31.5 is. And so halfway would be 30, so maybe the median is right here. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to look for the lower quartile. Okay, the lower quartile would be the median of the lowest half. So we're going to look for the lower quartile, or Q1. Okay, so what we have here is we're going to go from the blue line up here to the red where it says minimum. So that would be 15 pieces of information. So we're looking for the halfway point, or the 8th number. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the lower quartile value. Okay, and I know this because there's going to be 7 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over here. So there's 7 values there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 values there. So the lower quartile is 11. So let's go up there and put that on our box plot. So 11 would be about there. Okay. All right. Now let's find the upper quartile. Upper quartile, or Q3, which is the median of the upper half. And again, we're going to do the same thing. Okay. I'm going to count down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So this one is our upper quartile. So 62 is our upper quartile, 62. And again, there should be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on that side. So it's the middle. All right, so I'm going to plot 62. So 62 is going to be this one right here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and connect the box part of the box and whisker. So I'm going to connect my lower to my upper with straight lines, or as straight as I can get them. Okay, and what this is this shows me the middle 50% of the information. All right, so we have one more number to find, and that is the maximum. Okay, and so I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom, and here is my maximum value, and the maximum value is 125. Okay, so that's actually going to be a dot again, and it's going to be this one. So I'm going to put a line right there, and now I'm going to connect my whiskers with straight lines there. So half of the information comes in the box, and the other half comes outside the box. Okay, and I guess really we should probably scoot this red line for 1 over to the 1. Okay. All right. So there's my box and whisker plot. All right. So we can get a lot of information. First off, I can tell just by looking at this box that it's going to be skewed to the left. Okay. It's skewed left. And the reason I can tell that is because it's got this tail, the longer whisker is to the right. So most of my information, 75% of my information is going to be from 0 to 61, or 62, I guess. So 75%, or 3/4 of my numbers, are right here. That tells me that this class had a majority of jumpers that got somewhere between 1 and 62. Okay, I can also use this to compare it to Mr. K's class and see about where their middle 50% is. All right, tomorrow in class we're going to be going over all sorts of comparison questions and how to actually use this thing. So please make sure that you have it done. Go ahead and write dinosaur on Friday of this week, and I will see you in class.